This week we're talking about passing the guard, and we're going to talk, instead of going under the legs or over the legs, about going around the legs. Okay, so the passing posture for me is going to look a little different. It won't be a kneeling pass. We're actually going to stand. I obviously can't go around something I'm inside of, so I'm going to need to get out of his guard. I'm going to back out so that I can go around his legs at the end of his legs. So from here, we'll just do a basic standing pass. I'm going to hold onto his wrist and elbow. And this protects me on this side to step up. He can't just grab my foot. So we've done this before. I'm going to look at the ceiling. I'm going to lift like a UPS driver, right? So don't be hunched over. I'm trying to stand up like this. And from here, I'm going to push down his knee from the inside. And now I'm going to back out, and I'm going to put my hands on his shins just below the knees. There's a bump there, the tibial tuberosity. It's like right below your knee. That's where I want my hands for gi, for no gi. But because we're wearing gi, I am going to get grips. I'm going to hold with my fingertips facing out. I'm going to hold on to just the material I can grab while I'm doing this. And it may be his inclination to put his feet on me. I'd like to be in the habit of just a little bit of pressure to remove that contact. So pushing his knees toward his chest a little bit. And if somebody really extended their legs fighting me on this, it would be a very easy pass because they would be extended. One of the things that I'm always trying to do if I go around the legs is get from in front of him to occupy the space between his armpit and his knee. This space right here is the coveted space that I enter for knee on belly, for side control. So I definitely have to get inside of this space. This hand's job is going to be to open that space. That's this hand's job. I'm going to come around this way. So that is this hand's job. With my grip on his pants, I'm going to straighten his leg. This hand's job is going to be something else. It's not pulling. This one pulls so I can enter this space, but so that he can't defend by then throwing this leg over and recomposing guard, so that he can't turn his hips toward me to do that. This hand's job is to tilt his hips away. So this hand's going this way, this hand's going that way. And together, I get this. I'm going to step a little bit to the side so that when I pull, I don't put it between my legs. I don't want to do that. Put it in here, right? I'm going to step so that this one pulled, and this one pushes so that it's harder to tilt. Can you throw this foot over onto my hip or anything? No, I'm holding his hips away. Okay? So from my starting position, I'm here. A little bit of pressure just to disconnect. I'm going to step to the side. This one pulls open the space. This one tilts the hips so it's not easy to throw the foot over and re-guard. And I'm going to walk around. I'm actually going to stay up pretty high to do this. Let's start from closed guard, which is how we will rep it. I'm going to get the wrist and elbow. You can put some weight on this while you stand. Come up here. Now I'm going to push down his knee and back out. I'm going to make a connection and push his knees toward his chest a little bit. Side step, and then my hands do their jobs. Pull open and push away while I do that. Right here, and then stay up tall. We don't have to go to knee on belly yet. Let's just do the hand and arm motion. From here, try to keep your elbows close together. You don't want these wide open. He's just going to put his feet in. So keep them like this and come around. Now we're coming in high like we are because when I pass, the alternative to coming in high would be to throw his legs to the side and then put my shoulder on him and kind of finish my side control here. It's just so defendable. He can stop or slow my descent with two-hand frame and just block me. And meanwhile, he can be fighting with his leg. Instead of coming in and trying to put my body on him from way up here, what I do is pass, I step past, so now block me with two hands. Like he can't even reach me, and now I can just place my knee down. Okay, so this is how we're gonna touch down. This is why we stay high. This grip I have on his pants, you can keep it, and in your weight class, you might be able to slow somebody down from putting his foot on the ground and then shrimping away. So maybe I can keep Matt from putting his foot down. Yeah, and it makes it harder for him to wiggle out from under me. Outside your weight class, somebody way bigger might be able to stomp through your grip. That's okay, because it's not a necessary component to finishing the pass. When I pass and I put this down, if he stomps his foot free and he starts to move to the side, I'm just going to drop my knee into this point right here next to his hip. That's the point in every pass, I'm trying to put something in my knee and in my hand in order to basically finish passing. So if my knee falls off his belly because he shrimps away, I'll just put it next to his belly, flatten him out here for side control. In terms of consolidating the pass, finishing passing, this, I pass, I come in high, I drop my knee, and I'm in knee and belly. You can keep this grip, and this will potentially make it harder for someone around your weight class to put this foot on the floor. Bigger person might stomp free, that's okay too. If he starts moving, I just drop my knee beside him, flatten him out here, and take side control. There's an alternate ending here, and it depends on what my person does. Now, there will be people who never give you the space I'm talking about between the armpits and the knee. They just won't. I'll never consolidate this. I can't put my chest on this. I can't put my knee on this. We have to find another way in, and people will do this in response to you trying to straighten their leg. They say, oh no you don't, and they go, and they lock everything in. So Matt's doing a really beautiful job of that right now. What happens when you do that is if I make the same movement, I just move him a little more. He's on less of the ground, less of his back is on the ground, so he actually spins a little bit in place. That's okay. From here, I'm just gonna finish coming around north-south and then put my head on his belly. I do have access to like his belly, but even though I don't have access to sort of his ribs, so after I come around, I'm just gonna tripod and put my head on his belly here. And from here, I should be able to get my shoulders past his knees. And it would be very difficult to block my shoulders with his knees, but the very tightest people can do that. And you just have to come in with your head on the person and lift their knees up to get underneath. So we're just trying to beat the knees to the bottom. I do this, but all I did was spin Matt around. So from here, I'm just gonna find his belly with my forehead. And I'm coming in with my forehead after I pass the arms. Don't put the X across your throat. So I'm not coming in like this. This is gonna make sense when you're doing it. Don't come in with the X, come in like this. You're gonna have one arm above your head and one arm below your head. Try pass. I'm gonna come in right here.
And you notice I'm standing. Don't take a knee.
It's not gonna kill him to carry my weight a little bit through my head. So just put the head on the belly. And then you're gonna melt into side control. They feel that it's futile, the knees like disappear and you just melt into side control. So I'm here. And then I'm gonna come
North-south, and I'm on a tripod, no knee on the floor.
If I have to move his knees, I can, and then just melt into side control. So far we've been finishing up here or up here. So we've been high above our person, and that was on purpose, so they couldn't just stop us with their hands. Now I'm gonna get a little bit different grip. This one is gonna turn over. The pulling one, the one that opens the space, I'm just gonna turn over, okay? So we're gonna be here, I'm gonna step to the side, I'm gonna do the same stuff, but this time I am gonna do low altitude, so I'm gonna come down to his level. It's likely they're gonna be trying to elbow escape, and likely they'll even get the shin in, but that's okay. This shin coming in doesn't take away what this hand can still do. From here I can let go of this grip and grab his knee or his shoulder under his head and push this knee. And because I have the control over the hip girdle that I have, which rocks it away, Rock takes his leg out of the equation, I can still finish. So instead of finishing up high, I'm gonna finish down low. It's a maybe on whether I can keep his shin away, but keeping in mind the function of this hand, I should be able to close the distance further and turn his hips away. So I just have a stiff arm. This shouldn't be a lot of strength. Should not be a lot of strength. Should just be a stiff arm by the time you get here. So coming around, I'm down here. Maybe the shin comes in. That's okay. I just have a stiff arm leaning away, and I close that space, and I'm in my side control. So. Still able to finish despite a good elbow escape attempt. And this is a way to deal if I'm inside control and he does an elbow escape. This is a way to deal with this too, just all the time. Okay, so it's good to know anyway. We have another option from this position instead of just the Torreando pass as we've been looking at it. And that is to do the one arm throw. So this is really just gonna be like a left hook. I'm just gonna punch his leg to the side. But it's important that I'm not trying to get away from the thing I'm punching. I'm trying to follow up and be with it. So I'm actually gonna jump to the side a little bit. So I'm actually gonna get myself, I actually moved this way into the L of his legs, okay? Because I actually wanna close that space. Makes it harder for him to recover. So from here, it's this, okay? And from here, we're gonna do something very simple, which I'm just gonna put my hand on the floor in such a place that it could slide under his arm. That would be a better position for me once I get on top. And I'm gonna drop to my hip here, and then take side. Starting from here, I'm going to punch this way, and move myself forward and into the L of his legs. Then I'm gonna put my hand on the floor, basically he's facing this way, and I'm gonna put myself over here, so I put my hand here, my hips here, and that should help flatten him out. I don't really want him to roll away, to keep rolling forever. So me rolling him back with my body is key. So this, and then this. So now let's talk about the X pass. X pass and Torreando pass, some people even think are interchangeable terms for the same thing. I see them as different. Torreando pass starts with my grips here. X pass is going to start a little differently. I'm actually going to have one leg in, one leg out, and my grips are different. So I'm actually taking his lapel and I'm sort of pinning his chest. So it's going to be very similar, but just different grips. This one is 1 foot in, 1 out. Pin his torso here. Hold his pants. Small step just to keep my balance. When I punch this back, I extend my leg at the hip, not just at the knee, but at the hip. Get it way out of there, because some people have long legs and they'll try and catch you. And then I put it looks like knee on belly, but I have my knee next to his femur. And the reason is because when he moves away to try and recompose, I drop my knee next to him, and I've already passed. Some more. So from here, one leg in, one leg out. Here, boom. I'm next to his femur, so I'm not on his guts. I'm on his leg here. So that when he turns to face, I drop into that space while he's committed to turning sideways, and I get a good side control. Shuffle, yep. The no-gi X-Pass is going to be the same as X-Pass was, just that there's going to be fewer things for me to hold on to, so I won't have a lapel here, I won't have pants here, so we just have to take mechanical grips, which would just be grips on the body instead of on the material. What I want is 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And the grips for this one are going to be hand on, you can do on the sternum, or you can do on the hip. I have my hand grip on the knee, it's just a little bit on the outside, and I'm going to be taking a small step, kicking back, and pushing this across, and I still get the X with my arms, hence the X pass, but I'm going to finish it the same way, which is not knee on belly, but knee on femur, just below the hip bone. There's a hip bone right there. I'm right here, and he's going to turn his side to face me, and that's when I drop my knee into that space and collect side control. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. My grips are hip and knee. I'm going to take a little step for balance, kick back, push across, and put my shin down. It's like knee on belly, but I'm putting it against his femur right below the hip bone. And when he turns on his side to face me in elbow escape, I put my knee right in that one point that always represents the moment when I'm succeeding in passing. This is a simple one, but this is very effective, gi and no gi actually. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hands on the actual knees themselves, actually maybe even a little above, like on the quads, and I'm going to back up. When I back up, the feet touch the floor, and I'm going to put my weight through the shin bones into the floor. Okay, so you're going to have to figure out what direction that is. But basically, if he can pick his foot up, yeah, I'm not doing it well enough, and it could be that you have to be more on the quad side, basically on top of the leg, where I'm putting weight now through the shins. So it should be very hard for him to pick it up. You can lean on it. Leaning on it is just fine. It should be very heavy at that point. And now I I can step around. Matter of fact, I would still probably go to the femur so that when he backs away, I drop into this space and then recollect. This one really is just put pressure through the shins, through the top of the leg. So I back up, I keep weight here, and 1, 2, I'm here, and I drop in. Another silly option, actually, when you back away from the person, put their feet on the ground, is to let your foot take over for one of these grips and just step around to knee on belly. So instead of having to walk around this, I'm going to step on his foot. Now, what I'm doing is putting the arch right across, just a little below his toes, right across here. And it's actually not painful because it's soft. That's right, the muscle at the bottom of my foot. And then I'll step around, right to knee on belly, here. This one I do go to knee on belly usually when I do it. So I back up. I put the arch of my foot on his foot. That's enough to, can you pick your foot up? That's enough to slow him from picking his foot up. But does it hurt?
No.
No, it should not hurt. I'm not putting bone on bone. Putting this soft underbelly of my foot on his foot. So when I get these down, 1, 2, right to knee on belly.